Hello everyone, and welcome back to my channel. I am your host, Saucy McPoodlefist, and in the last one, we found out that our husband Luke, or Hannah's husband Luke, might have gotten another woman pregnant, and the ghost of the mansion showed up at the party. I believe that was in the last one anyway. Let's get started, shall we? It is now that Johannes returns with security, along with concerned-looking Officer Lee. They surround her and move her to escort the hysterical woman. Judging by his pale face, he has heard the whole thing, and I feel nothing but pity for the man. Not that I believe Rochelle. She's the one who said that Luke got her pregnant. Luke would never. He will never go as far as to sleep with another woman, right?
I'm so sorry for her behavior. She's been under a lot of stress. And the alcohol. Talking nonsense, that's all it is. You're not allowed to drink because of the baby, Shelley. What are you thinking?
Nothing to see here, people. Move along.
Is there really nothing here but the ramblings of a drunk? Of course there's nothing but ramblings of a drunk. She's just jealous. Jealous of this wonderful marriage, the happily ever after that I have with my prince.
Take that troll up out of here immediately! And see to it that she isn't allowed here or anywhere we hold any authority in Luxbourne.
To be banned from anything with the right name out on it is basically social suicide. We practically own half of Luxbourne, and there isn't a single establishment of repute that isn't under our patronage one way or another. This is mercy. I can do much worse to her. At least this way she can just move out of the city and never ever return. I stayed my hand in the face of her grievous fault, her bold-faced lies, when she deserves so much more. I can take away her business, have her factory shut down. It's too easy to ruin her life until she's just nothing. It is all so tempting. I can only see red. The tension is thick in the air, and the silence that embraces the room is nearly deafening. There are worried and almost fearful glances from some of the guests, yet at the same time I can hear them whispering. But as long as they hold their tongues and don't interfere, none of those matter to me. Especially when my darling looks at me with a different shine in his eyes. It's almost as if he seems proud of what I've done, and he spurs me on more than anything.
Everyone, please go back to enjoying the party. Don't let that mess of a woman ruin your night.
You heard her! Strike up the band, maestro, and let us dance like fireflies in the night!
It takes a bit for the crowd to stir again in the face of all that. But like most of the problems of the elite, it is brushed under the rug and forgotten in the favor of merriment. He offers his hand to me with a small smirk and a bow.
Well, that was a mess, wasn't it? And you handled it magnificently.
It happens. We are very important people, are we not?
Milady, would you like to dance?
With pleasure, my prince.
No one is going to get in between me and my darling husband. Not Rochelle or any other rich, snooty scrubber. Not some common whore or an ambitious maid. No one is going to get near him in that manner, not while I'm around. Yeah, wasn't he, like, flirting with, Rose and Isabella? Like, I don't know, maybe Rochelle is onto something. And if I have anything to say about it, no one is going to get near him at all. It's almost Halloween. The day after proved to be a difficult task. My darling prince is a man of many connections, a man of the people. He is always talking to one person or another. And I am always left alone, unable to stay at his side at all times. It is frustrating, but I have to be understanding. Besides, I don't see why he can't just stay at home. The least I can do is make sure I have his time while he's here, which, in and of itself, isn't as easy as it sounds. Not with that bloody valet of his tailing him around.
Johans, where's my tie? I can't find it anywhere.
Have you looked around your neck? It should be there if it's not on your clothes horse, sir.
It isn't often that I'm awake this early, at least early enough to find my darling preparing for the day with his valet attending to him. It is an old-fashioned way to go about the morning. He's able to dress himself after all. But he says that it really makes the day easier for him to have someone else do this tedious task, albeit with a grimace. Though, if that manservant of his dislikes the duty so much, I'll gladly do it in his stead.
I've got it, my prince. Come here.
Well, someone's up and at them especially early this morning, huh? Here I thought you'd be knackered by all the dancing we did last night at the party. And after that, well...
Bow chicka wow wow. A saucy little wink and a smile is what he offers me as I draw close to fix his tie. Saucy, get it? I'm saucy. And when the valet reaches out with his perfume, I quickly take it and shoo him aside. This close, his scent fills me with the smell of white flowers, cocoa, cardamom, and almonds. It is intoxicating. And the sight of the two of us in the vanity mirror is picturesque and perfect. Can I help but feel a little bit resentful that another person gets to do this for Luke every morning when I could do it myself? No, I can't.
You're dismissed, Shroken. I have this. Go on then. You'll be summoned if you're needed.
There is a curious look, furrowed brows before any sign that he cares is wiped away from his expression.
Very well. If you need me, I'll be somewhere that isn't here.
You could have let the man do his job.
And I say there's no need for him. I can take care of you just fine, my prince. Just where are you off to this morning anyway?
I hate the thought of him leaving me. It feels like an eternity without him here in this lonely place that doesn't feel like a home quite yet. Although the mansion really is growing on me, slowly but surely. Don't call me Shirley. I want to be at his side, yet he fails to see such an obvious thing.
Business. Where else?
Why can't you just work from home? You can afford to, can't you?
Business needs a firm hand and a personal touch, Buttercup. Besides, I can't stay cooped up forever in here. I'll go mad.
Well, you'll come back home as soon as possible, won't you? It's so awfully lonely here without you, my prince.
I could. I don't see why I should, though. This hasn't been a problem before. You know I'll come home when I come home.
Just get home as soon as you can. For me, won't you?
No promises. It's business after all. I can't just stand up in the middle of the meeting and tell them the wife wants me home.
Then forget those peasants.
He stops and stares, looking perturbed for a moment before shaking his head. Is he feeling ill? That's more reason for him to stay here with me, doesn't it? I'm just being a good wife, worrying about my husband and all.
Be good, dear, and stay safe. There's been all sorts of dodgy characters seen about the property. I'll be leaving Johans with you, just in case you need anything, and to be on the safe side, okay?
But I don't need a valet. I need you here with me.
I'll be closing a big deal with a pharmaceutical company soon, if things go according to plan. Maybe, after that, I can take a breather for a bit.
No maybes. You have to promise me.
I only need him.
I'm going to be late, Hannah. The longer this takes, the later I'll get home.
Fine. Shall I see you out?
If that's what you want.
At the front door, his valet awaits, ready to accompany him for the rest of the day, when he's told to stay and attend to me. I still don't like it. It looks like he doesn't either. but I ignore him in favor of one who really matters. I hold Luke's hand in mine and give him a deep kiss. It makes my heart flutter as I see the way his eyes close during our moment of passion. Parting for air, I can only smile.
Have a good day, my prince.
Right. Off I go.
I still don't want him to leave. He should just stay. Forever.
If you could let go of my hand, please, Hana.
It's just so hard to let go when I finally have him in my grasp. To watch him enter his car and leave pains me so. It leaves me an aching, gaping hole like a hunger and a need. I'm not content until he returns.
If it fits you, breakfast is ready in the parlor, madam.
If anything, I'll be in a foul mood until he returns.
Leave and go practice your bloody sodomy elsewhere.
Peculiar.
When I turn around to hiss at him, he's already gone, and that suits me just fine. I want to be alone, without anyone bothering me. I want to be alone with myself and my thoughts, with only these halls as company. These damned halls which will hold our memories, just he and I. There is no one else I need but my prince. Not some cheeky servant who's just living it up because he's Luke's right-hand man. Rubbish like him deserve nothing. He deserves to be thrown and locked in the attic. Without realizing it, my feet brought me here. This empty, lifeless room disgusts me. The longer I stare at it, the harder it gets to breathe, as if the walls are moving in on me. Yet, at the same time, it pulls me in. I hear a whispering, and curiosity get the better of me as I look under the bed. There, on the far corner, a loose floorboard. The wood, despite having swelled and warped over the years, is strangely familiar, comforting in its feel. Though it's not merely what my hand searches for as I reach for it, it takes quite an effort, but soon I'm able to lift it. And inside, underneath the dust and cobwebs, lies a pendant, warm and familiar. And I swear if I just close my eyes, I can feel it beating in my palm. I feel a thrill, though I also feel like a thief for taking this. But it's mine. So, without delay, I hide in our room. In front of the vanity, I see my eyes shine as I remove the clasp of my old necklace, and put on the new one. It fits a lot better than the old one. I can feel it as it weighs on my chest.
Right where it belongs.
Oh man, Hana looks creepy! Okay, we are now playing as Zachary. The pleasant aroma hits me long before I cross the threshold. Faint but light and warm, a reminder of what home is. Pa's stern but commanding gaze, Ma's tender smiles, the sunlight flittering through the eaves in the morning, and the distinct smell of cinnamon and vanilla as it drifts through the air every time something cooks from the room. The room, our room, Mom, Pa's pride and joy. My sister and I too, eventually. But we aren't allowed there. Not yet. Not until we're taller or older. Not until we've learned how to take care of ourselves and not burn our hands or reach for the cupboards without having to be lifted.
Well, a little peek wouldn't hurt, yeah?
The floorboards are cold under my feet more than it usually is. The walls more forbidding than what I am used to. farther and farther the room goes. Ma's singing ceases, and Pa...
No, please wait. I'll be good. I'll sleep on time. Don't go.
I can't hear Pa. Not above the raucous clanging and deafening roar of gunshots, nor the screams replacing the comforting soft melodies. There is only the blinding fear. When my foot slips, the red sea that catches me is bitter and frigid, but the blood that drips in my hand is warm, warm, warm. It ain't my blood. The walls tumble and everything goes quiet. The first few notes, while muffled, are enough to wake me. It takes a few moments for everything to fall into place, for my eyes to adjust to the light streaming into my room. Despite the pleasant chill that the AC brings, my shirt is clinging tightly to me, and my blanket a tangled mess around my throat. It's one of those nights again when sleep passes like a blink and is plagued with vague, fuzzy thoughts. I lift a hand to rub away the drowsiness from my eyes, although it does little to relieve the gritty, burning sensation from my eyelids. Outside, the sun has yet to peek over the horizon, but the night has already given way to the cool morning light, washing everything in subtle gray hues. At this hour, the entire city remains unstirring. Ordinarily, waking up just before my alarm means abusing the snooze button twice or thrice just to catch those precious few extra minutes of sleep. But the persistent ringing makes it impossible now.
This better be good.
Groggily, I scramble for the bag sitting at the foot of my bed. The ringing still hasn't stopped as I fish the phone out, and Ash's name flashes brightly on the screen when I turn it on. Must be pretty urgent if he hasn't dropped the call yet.
Where are you?
Ashton, it's 6 in the morning. Sun hasn't even risen. Hell, my brain ain't even awake yet. What do you need?
Get your ass here, pronto.
Here? Hold on. Can't this wait until I'm actually awake?
No, Rebecca's not in a good state, and...
His voice hitches, and I fail to catch the last of what he's saying over the sudden racket on the other side of the line. When the noise dies down, however, he does not continue. The abrupt change in his tone, the unexpected hesitance to speak puts me on the edge, and a different kind of anxiety clings to me. Something's wrong.
Here is where, Ash?
Apartment. Rebecca's and Isabella's. Just get here, please.
Are we gonna find out what happened to Isabella? He drops the call before I can ask more. Maybe it's just me, on my sleep-addled brain, but in the short moment, he sounds almost as if he's pleading. The thought alone does not ease the lump of dread gripping my insides already heavy with fear. But despite the questions currently swimming inside my head, I waste no time in getting dressed, the rest of the day's plans and scheduled meetings effectively forgotten. Whatever lies ahead, I hope this ain't one of those times my intuition is right. The murmurs of a small crowd milling on the streets are loud against my ears, a contrast to the sleepy, laid-back reputation the neighborhood has built throughout the years. Despite sitting close to downtown Luxborn, Salemwell Quarter never did quite attract the loud crowd common to the city. Isabella mentioned once how the quiet bothered her in the first few years here. She has grown so used to the routine clangor of the slums in her hometown. In her hometown, it has become the closest she has to a lullaby. She never did quite adjust to the kind of mom Salemwell had. Yet now, I highly doubt she's like this kind of commotion. That she'd like this kind of commotion either, in her own apartment complex, no less. Moreover, where is Rebecca in all of this? I was hoping either of them would be able to give me an explanation, but a number of police cars and an ambulance are parked along the street closest to the compound. Given Ashton's tone over the phone, I already half expected their presence here. What's a little surprising are the news vans lined up on the road opposite.
What in the blazes is the press doing here?
The cold stone at the pit of my stomach grows more unwelcoming with each step I take, bringing a sour taste in my mouth. A handful of the curious has flocked near the building, probably waiting for something interesting to happen. Carefully, I weave my way through the thin crowd, only to be halted soon by a perimeter tape enclosing the 3-story apartment. My eyes dart around the busy landing on the other side. It buzzes with activity as several officers move in and out of the building, most of them in white suits stained at the hems and the gloves with a striking shade of red. I try not to think about whose those came from, but the idea has already planted itself firmly in my head before I can stop myself. Is Isabella dead? Ash must be in there somewhere, if it is that kind of case. I wait. And after what seems like a lifetime, he emerges from the building, his own gloves smeared with the same red shade the others had on theirs, and exhaustion evident on his face. Briefly, he scans the area, but quickly averts his gaze when he catches my eye. Without so much as a wave of acknowledgement, he starts to walk off in the complete opposite direction while reading off the papers he has on hand with complete focus. I get that he's busy, but that's a whole different level of weird. Not 3 steps later, though, he seems to think better of it. He pauses before wheeling around and walking back towards me. The kind of hesitance, while not unheard of from him, is only enough to fuel the sick dread clawing at my insides. He doesn't meet my eyes when he speaks either.
Sorry you had to be greeted by this.
You say that like this is something new to me. Come on, dude, after all these years, every time I see your name on the caller ID, I'm already half expecting something shitty went down again somewhere.
An expression, both pained and weary, crosses his face momentarily before hiding under his usual mask of indifference. The rest of my laughter dies from my lips, replaced by the sound devoid of any mirth. Try as I might to keep the talk light, the thick atmosphere has become stifling at some point. I've always known how taxing his work in the police force has become since his promotion. Seen it with my own eyes, as a matter of fact. Okay, so Ashton's part of the police. That's interesting. But right now, have things really gotten this bad for him lately?
Can't say the side of forensics is a pleasant thing to see in the morning. Yeah, anyway, where's Rebecca? You mentioned she's not in a good state. And then, we have this. Please don't tell me she's somehow gotten herself in.
Nothing's happened to her. They're just getting her statement. They should let her go soon.
He gestures with his head towards an ambulance parked a short distance from us. Her strikingly familiar hair is visible between the 2 officers standing nearby. Although I can't see her face, the tired droop of her shoulders is impossible to miss. Still, to see her unharmed is a relief enough.
Glad to hear that. What's going on here anyway? Seems like you've got yourself another big case on your plate this time.
It's been classified as a homicide, but nothing conclusive yet.
A homicide? Another? Right here? Figures why the press is here. No, I don't think any of the 2 girls will appreciate you bringing the whole precinct here. Bella especially. Never did quite forgive Devlin, no matter how much she laughs about it now.
Isabella's not here. Zach.
I knew it. A flicker of grief. Momentary in its passing, but it's there across his face at the mention of her. And in a single lapse, the stone in my stomach has firmly lodged itself up in my throat.
Ash? What's really going on here?
A hunch, that's all it is. But if there's anything I've learned from him all these years, it's that the hardest questions are unavoidable if you want to get answers. Not in a world as harsh as ours.
Ashton, I asked you a question. Where is Isabella?
When he looks at me, I already know the answer. God damn, I already know it, but I want to hear it straight from him.
She's dead.
2 words. None of it registers.
Dude, you know full well I find jokes like that in bad taste. If you need me curious about this, you got it done way before that came out of your mouth. Now answer the question properly.
I already did. What else do you want me to tell you?
The truth! Stop shitting with me and tell me what this is all about! God help me if no one tells me what's going on. I swear I'll...
I don't have time for this, Zach. I've got a lot of stuff waiting to be dealt with right now. I need you to make yourself useful and stay with Rebecca after they're done with her.
Let me through.
My hand's already on the tape, poised to raise it, but he's quick to move in front to bar me from crossing to the other side. It only serves to raise the ire bubbling up in me. The tone he takes doesn't help either.
I can't let you do that. This place is off limits until the investigation's over.
It wasn't a request. Let me through.
What could you possibly want to?
You said she's dead! I want to see it with my own eyes, Ash! I'm not buying any of your bullshit until I've seen it with my own eyes! Now move aside!
Or what? You'll break the tape? March in there like some criminal above the law? Because I'm telling you that's what you'll be once you do! And I won't be able to keep you out of trouble this time, no matter how innocent you are!
Screw the rules! That is my friend in there! Just the other day I was talking with her. How can she be dead right now? How sure are you that she is? All I'm asking is proof, goddammit!
It's not that simple! We're following a protocol here. And friend or not, you have to stay in line while forensics finishes documenting the victim's body and every fucking thing in the goddamn scene. Now back off, sit down, and let us do our work. Don't make this harder for us, Zach.
What? You make it sound like you don't even know her. Ain't she your friend too?
It's not that. You don't understand. Right now, she's nothing but a dead body. We need to...
All I saw is red. My anger subsided just as quickly as it erupted. The next thing I know, he's on the ground, nursing a bloodied lip and a bruised cheek with an unreadable expression in his eyes. My fist falls to my side, limp and forgotten. The papers and photos he's holding on to all this time flutter uselessly to the floor around us as if to mock me. His rage would have been better, far easier to deal with than the walls suddenly built up around himself. With it, there's only hurtful words and ugly truths, no puzzling guessing games that leave you thinking for days on end. I shouldn't have let my temper get the better of me either. I want to apologize, say something to remedy the situation, but my mouth has gone thick with fear and remorse all at once. I can only look at my feet, no longer standing close to the boundary I threatened to cross earlier. And that is when I see it. Understanding dawns on me, violently enough to shake me. With trembling hands, I reach for the scattered photographs off the pavement. Oh man, look at that picture. Like tore her heart out or something. A poor Isabella, holy shit. A sick, burning feeling immediately rises up in my throat. Purely on instinct, my eyes move to every corner of the print, searching for any sign of tampering, for any discrepancy, for any hope that this might just be an awful prank. but try as I might, I can't find it. Ripped apart. There's no other word for it. She barely looks like herself. In fact, I wouldn't even have known it's her if Ashton hadn't mentioned something earlier. When I think of her, all I see is the person who rarely ever got lost in cheer, whoever lost the cheer in her voice. Often upbeat, rarely dispirited. Now she's nothing more than a mangled mess of blood, flesh, and splintered bones. Her head is bent backwards, the eyes and mouth open in a silent, empty scream. A hole in her torso, big enough to expose her inside, gasps open at me. It is as if a savage beast had torn her viciously open and feasted upon it, every organ mutilated and butchered beyond all recognition. Blood pools from the open wound, drenching her and the floor in a deep shade of red. I can even smell and taste it without being there. When finally I look back at him, Ashton's shoulders have gone rigid, his eyebrows are drawn in a tight frown, his jaws are clenched tight. I recognize the frustration, his frustration, for what it is. It's not that Ash doesn't want to see her, he simply doesn't want her to be seen in this state. This ain't how he wants her to be remembered. I struggle to find words, anything to fix this god-awful misunderstanding. This ain't what we should be doing right now. But he only looks away as he pushes himself off the ground.
Ash, I don't know what came over me.
I won't be pressing assault charges considering the situation. I've got things to check with the other officers, but don't go thinking you can easily cross this line without me here. The other police types won't be as forgiving. Go check on Rebecca. She's probably the one who took it the hardest.
Alright, we are going to end the episode off here. Thank you guys so much for watching. If you like this video, give it a thumbs up, and I'll see you all in the next one. Goodbye, everyone.